This is going to be a special episode. Caesar and I were debating whether to even talk about Mbappe stuff or just talk about this stuff that's been going on lately in America. We decided to talk about football. You know, it's a soccer podcast, and it was the 5th anniversary. There's big stuff going on, so we decided to do that. But we wanted to come back and do a special episode and talk about what's going on in the world today. It's not rare for us. We've talked about many different things on the show, many different tragedies. We talk about other shootings and mass shootings and terrorist acts and natural disasters. We talked about all kinds of stuff on this podcast. But like I don't know about Caesar necessarily. We haven't talked about it yet. I'm sorry. We were the Buffalo shooting happened 10 days ago. We did an episode since then. I decided to not talk about it. I was like, you know what, like let's just not, like, sometimes it's just heavy and it's like it sucks, and you just like, okay, you know what, like let's just skip it, let's just keep it sports. But then we had the shooting in Uvalde, Texas, yesterday, 2 days ago. And that's just too much. And it's like, you know what, like, let's just come back and let's just talk about what's going on. Obviously, Caesar and I both are people that pay attention to the news, and we both pay attention to politics. And we care about human life a lot, both of us. Caesar doesn't care about mine very much, but I just felt like we had to just talk about what's going on, talk about what happened. Obviously, in Buffalo, we had 10 people that were shot by, I forgot his name now, Peyton something, replacement theory enthusiast or right-wing radical, went into that top supermarket and killed 10 people and injured 3 others, 10 Black people, on purpose. Then we had another young man in Texas, in Uvalde, Texas, go and shoot his grandmother and then proceed to kill 19 young children, 2 adults, and he injured 17 other people. And we have a distinctly American national tragedy pattern that is just not going to stop, I don't think.
Yeah, this America is a country that I've learned over the years that has a sick addiction with some of the 1700s and the Constitution and amendments that were written to protect, actually completely misinterpreted amendments that were written by people way back in the day when people like me and Bam weren't even considered full human beings. So
you definitely weren't.
Oh no, I wasn't even around. I wasn't even there. I was a West Indian probably.
It was going to be 165 years before I was a human, and it was going to be 188 for you.
So it's sad because this is what I've noticed, especially in recent times. For example, with Sandy Hook, is that after Sandy Hook happened, which was horrific, like just like those are like kindergartners. There's just and anybody that's like not even a parent, like I'm sure people remember just being a kid and walking into a kindergarten classroom. It's literally just like the most not peaceful, like peaceful intense. Like it's just little kids, just like being goofy, just kids hanging out, finger painting, like trying to write the letters, like trying to write
the turkeys with their hand.
Yeah, they get like the big ugly letter C and they're trying to trace it, like. It's just things like that, and I can't even imagine the horror of a disgusting human going in there and murdering those children. Like it's sad. It makes me sick to say it. And what we started doing in this country is because it was so sickening. Demonic people here made it seem like it was a conspiracy theory. They made it seem like it didn't exist, and that people like Alex Jones who ate a fat lawsuit and now won't even say the word Sandy anymore because it damn near cost his whole company how much that lawsuit was.
He won't even go to the beach.
No, he won't even watch Captain Hook. But it's Another one, Parkland. When Parkland happened, what was the initial response? Hey, teachers, I know you have no money for supplies, no money for anything, and we're cutting your budget. Here's $500 stipend. Go buy yourself a handgun and get yourself some training. That's what this country's response was to Parkland shooting, which literally, if you look at those teens, they were devastated. There's people still talking about them being in therapy for this now, like horrific. That's a worst nightmare ever. I talked about before, I don't know if it was on the show, where there was an active shooter going on in my Catholic school, and I went under, and we had to go like a drill. We're going to our table. We're under our table 45 minutes. I still remember that day, and I didn't even experience a shooter or someone dying. Like, I remember that moment in school where I was like, that was an anomaly. Like, that was weird. That was uncomfortable. Like, we were looking at people walking through the blinds, and any moment we're like, that could be like the dude. Like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't hear us. Like, it's scary. Now we're in a situation where they're doing, now as a response to what happened, they're running these drills, and they're telling teachers and kids like, oh, it's about hide the ones that are the only hide the quietest ones, and they're doing all these Alice trainings or whatever they do. It's called Alice training for like, to prevent like shooters. Like, some of the stuff you've seen and heard from teachers is like sad. Like, it's sad to see what they have to go through with a child. Like, you're making these decisions on saving children's lives, and the reason that's happening is because of an obsession with guns, like an obsession with not just guns, but assault rifles. When they wrote those amendments, a founding father or whoever wrote this mess would have literally passed away and died at the thought of an assault rifle. If he saw a dishwasher, he would have been like, what? And we're taking those uninterpreted, misinterpreted amendments into today, which is like, I can't believe we're doing this. And it's sad. Like, it's been so sad that I've actually avoided social media. Like, I've popped in a couple times, but because of how disgusting things like Twitter are now, where like people just get to write whatever they want, and politicians, especially conservative and right-wing politicians, get to just say what they want, and the Democratic Party endorsing candidates in Texas who are very pro-gun, NRA sponsored, and very pro-life. It's sad because it makes me just like I coil at the thought of like reading this stuff, and I'm like, it's gonna affect my mental health today. So I don't need to spread awareness on it. It's all over the place. I just need to step away because I can only take so much as a person. And all my heart and condolences go out to those family. I read today that the father of one of the teachers passed away, like a father passed away from a heart attack, who dealt with this. Like, it's sad, like the ripple effect of all that's going on. And the saddest part means like, I don't even know what we're really going to do other than anything. Cause like, this country has the biggest funding and hard on for NRA and guns that I've ever seen the country have. And it's sickening.
Yeah, it's just really sad, honestly. Like, when you think about solutions and stuff, I mean, well, do I want to talk about that yet? Yeah, whatever. You brought up Sandy Hook, and like, yeah, the craziest thing. I mean, I remember when that happened, and it's like, when you start seeing conspiracy theorists, I had heard of crisis actors before. Like, I've heard that term before, but I'm like, not for this. Like, y'all are gonna really y'all are gonna say these are crisis actors, or like when kids get shot.
That's so disgusting. Come on, dog. Literally, children died, yo.
And there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm not gonna get into all of them. I don't want to talk about race that much right now. But it might sound harsh, but the reason why people are able to run with those conspiracy theories is because you never see pictures of the crime scene. And it might sound harsh, and it might sound like that's crazy, like nobody, like you're not trying to show pictures of children dead, but there's a lot of people that say that. Like, it's not like an unfounded thing. Like, no, like if you like, when the thing that hit me the most about this thing in the shooting in Texas was when you hear that parents have to do like DNA. They can't even tell like which one is their kid because they've been shot up so badly. people think like a gunshot wound is like the movies. Like these AR-15s, they can like rip a whole chunk out of you. They like blow half your head off if you're a kid. So like, I'm not, I'm not trying to like do like the trauma porn thing, but like if people see like what actually happens in these situations, it's either that or get rid of these guns, which like I can't even imagine, Whitey giving up their guns. But like, I think that we got to get into a situation where people show pictures. When the Parkland shooting happened, a lot of those parents wrote like forms saying like, I agreed to have my child's picture shown. Like, I agree, like you can show the pictures of my dead kid because people need to see what happened. During the Iraq War, I remember early on, you started to see a lot of caskets coming back on them planes with American flags on them. You seeing dead soldiers coming back on them planes. And that was the thing that started to change people's opinion of the war to the extent, if I could be mistaken, I don't know if like Bush ordered it or like what happened, but like they stopped showing pictures of the dead soldiers coming back. Like they had to stop because people were like, yo, like what the heck? There's people dying. Like what? We thought it was gonna be easy. When people see stuff like with their own eyes, I feel like that's the thing that can maybe potentially move things in a direction of change. Because sadly, we have one political party that is, in my opinion, they're happy when things like this happen. Because gun sales go up every time there's a mass shooting. These people are fascists. And when there's mass shootings like this, people are scared. People are paranoid. They're looking for safety. And they may find it in like the strongman leader. Paranoia, like general paranoia and fear leads to fascism. So in my opinion, they are happy when something like this happens. The NRA, like the gun lobby, they're excited when a mass shooting happens. They get to point at people and say, look, you're politicizing it. I'm just saying that God be with him, There's got to be solutions, and I feel like the solutions have been put out there. You spoke about like the hard on for guns. I just remember when we did. I don't know. Were you there for the FDS when we talked about Second Amendment or no?
Maybe
because I kind of feel like you weren't.
Really?
Dan and Sean were there.
Okay.
And I think Tommy was there too. But for some reason I don't think you were there. Anyway, I can't remember if you were there or not, but it was just really funny to me during that FDS, and like I'd never forget it. Every single male of all political backgrounds talked about liking guns. And I was just like, damn, like.
No, I was there. It was in person, right?
Yeah, it was in person.
I was there. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
And you actually had someone in there that was like not like a military, some kind of guy was there too, like an older man.
There was an older guy. Yeah, okay, you were there.
He was making some pro like gun defense.
Yeah, he was
stuff.
a pro
I remember
gun
that.
guy.
Yeah, I was there for that.
And we had the family that had just moved to Southern California from Utah, and like the girl was like the daughter was like the leader of, because that was like right after Parkland, and she was like the leader of like the protests at her school. I just can't remember you being there because I don't remember what you said. But I just remember Dan and Sean and like
I remember
some other people. Like
I remember Sean was like pro gun or something like that too, right?
Very, and Dan too.
I remember that, and his friend Tommy was there.
Yeah, because I would expect it from Tommy.
Yes, I was there. What the hell they remember?
Yeah, I honestly I don't know why. I just can't remember you being there. But I remember even Dan, and it was like everybody that I remember, like even the guys whose politics align with mine more. Like there's something about men who feel like, oh no, I gotta be into guns. Like I can't like act like I'm scared of guns or like I don't like guns because like that's not manly to not like guns. And I'm just like, dude, like that's the issue. It's like this male insecurity about like, this is like the ultimate killing machine. So like I have to be into it if I'm gonna be a man. Like if I go around some dudes and they like have a gun or whatever, and I'm just like, I'm out of here. Like they're gonna think I'm soft. And I'm like, no, dude, like we got to get over this shit, dude. Like this male insecure, as I always say, male insecurity is the most dangerous force in the world.
I mean, it's a driving point of probably in so many catastrophes worldwide,
Literally, and these shootings too.
continuously, like consistently in history.
Like, I don't know how you combat male insecurity, which is the most dangerous force in the world. I don't know.
Well, I think the only like logical way of combating male insecurity is by actually having proper, like a proper upbringings that don't have like that don't involve demeaning people based upon like their views and like being open-minded, like having like proper like a proper having like a better, more open-minded culture in terms of like in your country and being open-minded about different backgrounds and educating people about world. I think that creates a better environment towards deflating some of like male ego, and also having like people in leadership positions that aren't all just 90% male. And I think stuff like, if you were to just have like a sample product of a country that had a lot of these things, I'm sure you would have vastly different statistics than a country like ours. Like just without a doubt. Like I don't even doubt that. Now, do I know how to get to that framework? No, I don't. Like, do I think that we could do that? No, I don't think we could do that. Like, am I a socialist? Yes. Am I lefty? Yes. Do I believe any of my ideas are going to be part of my nation one day? No. But that's just
well, also like the issue here too is just that there's just too many guns. Like,
and also America's issue is like, not people. We can talk about rewriting laws and amending amendments, right? Like amending the amendment itself that's been amended, like, but it's not that won't ever change the culture. Like there's a gun culture
and there's just too many guns.
And
like it's just too many.
Here. Ma'am, whenever you see you've been San Diego, we've seen all the stuff here. What does California always do that's big? They always do the police drive where you come and bring your gun in and you get $500, right?
Gun amnesty.
I had an experience recently where there was where basically there was a gun found in my neighborhood. We turned it in. I received a gift card, right? Like, but when you go to
$5, was it for Target?
Yeah, it was $500.
Use some draws.
When you go there, when you go there, it's like a mountain of guns. Like they literally bring that big old trash metal container and they throw them on there. You're like, God damn, dog. And that's only what someone decided to turn in. When you see, like, when you think about, oh, there's gonna be like a gun show here, you go into the parking lot's packed.
Caesar,
it's nuts.
We've all seen that big billboard for the gun shows in San Bernardino.
Oh, it's insane.
It's like green.
When I like, and I'm gonna say this, like, have I shot a gun before? Yes, recreationally. Like, have I been around it? Yes, even since I was a kid in Brazil, like part of my uncle's farm.
Caesar, you was out there shooting in Idaho. You was out there shooting.
I was out there shooting. I'm literally finishing my list, but go ahead. I've shot it when I went to Idaho.
He's not.
Literally, like, and I think back to your FDS session where I'm sitting and watching someone who I consider like a little brother to me be super vehemently pro gun, like, and like literally this person is born a house away from me. Like I've held him in my arms as a baby, and we have a vastly different view on this. Like I'm somebody that, like, I don't even want to imagine like something like this in my home. Like I don't want this in my home. I can't even imagine going to a shop and filling out the certification. Well, what? No, like I can't imagine this. Has there been times in my life when I was younger I thought about it? Would I have a gun in my house one day? Yes, but like, how can I see what's happened to the world around me from Sandy Hook, which was like 2015 or something, right? A while ago, to 2012 to Parkland to Columbine. Like there's been so many consistent things that have impacted my life in my 20s to my teens, seen it around me. Why would I want this weapon of destruction in my own home? Like I just can't even imagine that.
Caesar,
like,
a handgun is literally made to kill a human. That's it. You're supposed to use this to kill a person.
There's a really good documentary where they show the kid that goes into the liquor store to buy cigarettes. He's 13. They're like, no. Goes to buy alcohol. They say no. Goes to buy a damn scratcher. They're like, no, buddy, you gotta be 13. He goes into a damn gun show in Riverside, and they literally give him a rifle, and he's 13. And then conservatives look at that video and they go, man, like, I mean, what can we do? What do you mean, what can we do?
You're 13. All you're thinking about is killing your parents.
You know what he wants to use that for? And it's not to make buddies and shoot squirrels.
No, you're like, Mom, I want ice cream.
Like, think about this. It's always telling to me, like, if I have a child and you have a child, and they said, hey, Dad, I want to buy a gun. You'd be like, what?
What for?
I'm like, honestly, I want to know the enemy list right now.
like honestly, it's just like I understand gun ownership if you live in the woods. Like,
if you live, like, what does it say? If you live in a place where police response is excess 50 minutes, for sure, dude. Maybe you want to have protection. I understand that. If you're on the sticks, I can get it. Like, the police response time averages 40 to 50 minutes. That sounds like LA, but I understand if you're on the sticks and you're just alone and it takes forever. But like when you're in, like, bam, if a gun shoots where I am right now, there's people all around me. They'll literally go through 4 walls.
Exactly. No, like my grandparents in Alabama, like we lived out in the country. Like, yeah, like they had a bunch of guns. It was like, oh damn.
Yeah,
I didn't know you had that one.
In Brazil.
But it's like out in the sticks. Like, you know, you like you're more having a gun for animals.
And you know what it is, Bam, when you were out there, how many times you've ever seen a cop out there?
No, like never.
I literally have. I only seen a sheriff on a highway, and then once you get into the farmland, you see nothing but just people, regular people.
But their guns are for animals. Like if something's attacking,
like rifle, whatever. Like
like if something's attacking your dog, or if like there's like some coyotes, you might, or you need to shoot a snake.
It's even more understandable for people to be allowed to have like a 9 rather than being able to have ARs and
there's no
like that. These will mow people down.
Yeah, and people literally. Like there's just no reason. And honestly, I remember I tweeted it. I was gonna also mention, like, you were talking about staying on social media. I'm like, that's why I had to delete my Twitter. Like, but damn it, what was I gonna say? Shoot, I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Dang it. What the heck was I gonna say right now? Oh. I don't know if you remember, even though you're grinning real hard at this other laptop of yours. I don't know if you remember when I tweeted.
We're on to you.
I don't know if you remember when I tweeted the Second Amendment doesn't belong in any functional democracy.
I haven't seen that quote.
Well, I tweeted that some time ago, and I remember Hero responded, and he was like, well, I own a gun. And I wasn't about to like go back and forth with them, like whatever. I'm not going to have the discussion on Twitter, but like,
could also been trolling too. But go.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't say anything about gun ownership. Well, I actually said the Second Amendment, how it's interpreted today.
Yeah, I think that's a misconception. Yeah. People don't understand.
It's
people
different.
That advocate for the Second Amendment don't truly interpret it correctly as if it's written.
Exactly. So that's what I said. How it's interpreted today doesn't belong in a functional democracy. And he was like, "Oh, I own a gun," and I'm like, "Well, I didn't go back and forth with him, but it's like I'm not saying owning a gun. I'm saying this idea that like unlimited gun access is like part of freedom. Like that idea, your democracy is literally like year by year going down the more guns you have."
Yes.
Like these people think like, no, the more guns you have. And you know what else too, at that FDS, all those guys kept on saying like, well, you know, the Second Amendment is about if the government becomes tyrannical. And it's like, no.
Bam. Literally, that's the problem, is that sentence people say it's about. It's
like,
about.
No, dude.
No, it's not.
They were talking about controlling slaves. Like these people were founding a government. They weren't talking about, hey, how do we make sure people can take us out? Like these guys weren't like 80 years old when they were writing that. These dudes was like in their 20s and 30s. They were thinking about being in government for like a while, dude. Like they weren't thinking about like, hey, you know, I might become a tyrant. How are we going to make sure people can fight us? No, they were talking about, hey, what are we going to do if there's a war, but then the slaves revolt? Like, what are we going to do? You know? But these people have this idea like, well, if the government becomes tyrannical, then you can fight against them. Okay, I see it. And it's like that's not what the Second Amendment ever was about. And also, they also think like, oh, the more guns you have, the more safe you'll be. And it's like, no, dude, then this would be the most safe country in the world. We got the most guns. Yemen would be safe. Brazil would be safe. Here would be safe.
Please give me an example, literally not dating from 1776 and 1700 or whatever, when you're going against tyrannical colonists, where the people assembling a mass multitude of ARs has done a massive democratic upheaval that has brought freedom and prosperity to the people. I will please, because maybe I'm stupider than I ever thought I was, where I didn't see this historically, where this is going down. Literally, the Second Amendment, word for word, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, when you read this insane fragment from 1700s, where they were talking backwards as hell, where the subject is way in the end of the sentence, they're just buck wild with their English, right? They're not even speaking English right. This is written in no English that's not even spoken anymore. We're like, oh, this means that like, oh, I can go and give a 16-year-old an assault rifle, and you can't take that away from him, regardless of his history, his age, his record, or anything. Huh?
Like insane.
Well-regulated militia. What do we even classify as militias in this country anymore? Like, what are we doing, dude? When they talk about militias, they talk about some insane stuff going on with like Somalia or whatever. They never talk about America. So what are we doing here? Like, can we be honest about this? No, we can't, because there's too much money in NRA. There's too much money in gun ownership. There's too much money in the culture of quote unquote gun freedom and protecting your freedoms. If Hero were to say back to you, oh, I'm going to keep this, I have a gun because I want to protect my freedom. Let me tell you something. If anybody would tell somebody this, they don't need gun law to take your freedom away, my friend.
Exactly.
You know when they took your freedom away, to be honest? When they imposed lockdowns and everybody couldn't go outside the street, what did your gun do about that? When the when the initial COVID happened, remember when they had the riots here for George Floyd, and they said you can't go outside, and my house was like sirens going up and down the road. Where were the guns at to go outside?
Yeah, and what would it help if you started firing your gun?
And if I went outside right now with my AR start popping off on cop, how am I going to get my freedom back? You know what? I'm gonna actually. Only freedom I have is my freedom to end my life, because it's over.
Basically, yeah.
Like I'm done for.
Yeah, and that's what guns are mostly used for: suicide,
life taking. There's no life creation with weapons, right?
No.
The creation of life. If anything, we need to be fighting for the protection of women and their life and their decisions. Not a gun, which its only purpose is to take life away. It's not for freedoms. It's just for murdering people.
That's it.
Because if guns were that effective in terms of bringing freedoms, then we wouldn't have politicians. We wouldn't have a democracy, dog.
We wouldn't need it.
People like Hitler and Stalin would have succeeded.
Caesar,
do we not understand this?
Caesar, this country right now with 400 million guns would be the best utopia ever, because
we would have if I know that a gun would give me free health care, then I'd probably own one too, but that's not how it works, dog.
You can't like the person in like Texas who's like can't afford insulin and it is like poor but got like 3 guns. You're not gonna go use that gun to go get the medicine from the pharmacy.
Yeah, I don't see you running up your gang of boys to 8Ks to go to CVS and be like, hand over all the goddamn insulin. I can't pay $126 a shot for this anymore. Exactly. And Canada pays 21. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen.
I'm gonna keep it a stack right now too. I didn't see them pull up all them guns on January 6th either. What I thought you guys were going hard. You just walked in, took a couple of flagpoles, goofed around, had a Ziploc.
Well, there was
I know some people, but it wasn't like, oh, here comes the army, like, oh, so it's like I'm not inciting it, but I'm also saying like you're also doing a lot of capping right now. It's a lot of cap.
Oh yeah, because Caesar, they're not stupid. They know that if they rolled up there,
they would have got murked. They would have serious.
They would have just had the National Guard. They'd be like, look, if one of y'all put your gun here, we're gonna shoot everybody.
It's like everyone is a Blue Lives Matter and a cop defender until they get flexed on by a cop.
Exactly.
Until the cop takes all of a sudden they switch teams. They're like, okay, you know what? That guy is an asshole.
Like, and honestly, like you look at countries where the police don't even carry weapons, like England, I think Japan, some other countries. I feel like Vietnam, like the police don't even carry weapons. They have crime there.
Man,
there's violence.
All the cops pull up 6 deep to start throwing bows. They be throwing bows to start off. They be throwing hands in the beginning. Everybody knows that a lot of these countries, they'll have tactical teams, they'll have backup that has weapons, but a beat cop is like very rarely has a weapon in foreign countries. Like a beat cop itself, like barely has a gun. It's shocking. And beat cops, even in America, didn't have guns before.
I mean, let me I want to actually see like which places cops don't carry guns. Well, damn, there's only a few. 19
I think England's always a great example because that's a first world country.
England,
there's violence there too.
But England is the most violent country of all time, and they figured out how to like have a place where the cops don't carry guns. They went around the world and killed everybody.
There's literally all these tweets talking about, oh yeah, well these countries are like, oh, but they have a massive issue with shanking. My friend,
no, they don't.
If our issue is people getting shanked, I think that's a lot more attainable to control than a gun that can kill 20 people in 2 minutes. How many people can you kill in 2 minutes with a shank, dog? What are we doing here? As they say in West, a shiv. What a shiv, bro.
I guess there's 19 countries or territories the police do not carry firearms unless the situation is expected to merit it. Some of these are really small countries, like small islands, but South Korea, which is a big population, Norway, New Zealand, Malawi, Iceland, Botswana, and obviously the UK, except for Northern Ireland. It used to be going down there.
Well, I don't get
Ireland also doesn't carry guns. And then it's like some other small islands. But
I think we said it best here is that guns are the opposite form of democracy, because like you said, if you truly cared about your freedoms and all this, and you truly believed in democracy, then you wouldn't believe in the ownership of a weapon. A weapon isn't the answer for this, right?
No.
Because why would I elect people if I believed that my gun was what would uphold my freedoms? No, I still vote and I do elections. So obviously I believe in democracy over my weapon. Like, it's simple, because in history, dictatorships that have used weapons to threaten people, that's not democracy. You've gotten rid of what Putin is doing. It's not democratic what he's doing. He's using weapons and violence to instill fear and take over land. That's the opposite.
Well, also, like, this is another thing too. Like, these people are so unimaginative and they don't understand history. There's been revolutions that weren't that
bloodless. Literally,
there were revolutions where the government had weapons and the people did not. You can still win. Like,
there's been slave revolutions where there was the people had no guns.
There was, like, in Iran, like, there was a revolution. It wasn't like the people in the street were shooting at the government forces. No, it was a popular revolution, and the people in the police forces said, we're with the people. It was a just cause. Other places have been the same thing. I think in India, they got their freedom from I'm sure there was some bloodshed, but it wasn't an armed insurgency against the British.
No.
Like, it just.
But even not saying it's completely, but with the Hong Kong protesters, like, and the acquisition of China, the people were just protesting outside of airports and making a difference rather than having like a gun war in a street with the police.
Exactly.
Like,
they were stealing on some cops, but they wasn't shooting them.
Stealing is fine. That's allowed. That's all American, baby.
Exactly. But anyway, we're gonna get cut off soon, so we just wanted to talk about this issue and just kind of get it off our chest to some extent.
The answer to me is never more weapons. I do not believe in, and you see the representatives saying, "Oh, put armed guards and police." That's not the answer, because there was. So abolish all this, please. Abolish weapons. Get rid of the weapons, please.
Okay.
Gun control.
Yes, harsh gun control. We need Mexico's gun laws. Holler.